It's live to learn and learn to live. Okay. And I don't say connect from here. It's a connect from here, from the heart.
Hmm. So, one book or idea that changed your thinking.
Thriving on Chaos by Alvin Toffler.
Okay. Anything specific on that, sir? Like any context
Read
of that
it.
book? Okay.
Read it.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Echoes After EOD. I'm thrilled to welcome Ravindra Bhide, sir, to the podcast today. As the managing partner and country head India of Selion Global, he brings decades of global experience in leadership consulting, executive search, and talent transformation. From driving strategic initiatives at Corn Ferry to spending a decade in Switzerland with Ciba Specialty Chemicals, Ravindra sir has worked across industries and continents, building a truly international perspective. He is also a passionate mentor and educator, deeply involved with business schools and leadership development. I'm really looking forward to learning from his journey and insights today. Welcome, sir, to the podcast. Thanks for giving your time.
Thank you, Arnav. Namaskar to everyone.
So, when I was going through your journey, I understood that you were a fellow management consultant you were a fellow management consultant at AF Ferguson, which is currently a member firm of PwC, when you started your journey after your MBA from SPJMR. So, I want to take you to those days when you were a student in SP. So, first of all, so how were you as a student over there? What were your aspirations back then? And how did your mindset work when you got into your first job of being a management consultant?
Okay. So let me tell you what kind of a student I was. We had a very clear split in the early 80s. I was the second class which graduated in 1984. I was part of that. So we were classified as hostelites and day scholars because most of us hailing from Mumbai or who had possible accommodation in Mumbai were not given hostel facilities. There was no compulsory hostel education. So there was a lot of time spent in traveling, going back and forth from the institute, going home or wherever your residential accommodation was, and then coming back. Extended hours because visiting faculty was a big backbone of content delivery then. And so we had to depend on practitioners from the real industries outside or corporate professionals who had a little flair for academic teaching or were willing to come and spend time with students. Our program was a University of Mumbai MMS program, so we got degrees then. Later on, we became autonomous. SPJMR autonomous, so it became diplomas and so on. So the challenge of getting placed at the end of 2 years was very large for us. Don't forget that SPJMR at that point in time had just the second class, and we were a class of 50, mind you, then.
Yeah.
So just the second group of 50 passing out into the industry. So the industry knew only Jamnalal Bajaj as the institute in Mumbai as a management
Mm.
institute. So all of us had multiple tasks lined up for all of us. So we had to do a lot of marketing, storytelling, trying to get faculty to deliver content, trying to get companies interested in coming to campus and doing even the preliminary rounds. Today, all the students who go in for management classes have a huge source of information. You have a huge
Mm-hmm.
infrastructure available. You also pay huge fees. I don't think that I should neglect that part.
Yeah.
And expectations are all that much more higher from you students. But uh, the focus is on how well you can pick up stuff from this environment which is available, use it in your own life, use it for your own career, and excel and success
Yeah.
and succeed of it. So that focus is a lot more today, whereas back then um, we were treated at times at par with a chartered accountant or a
Mm.
cost and management accountant. If you did finance, if you did something in marketing, there was no other parallel qualification in marketing. Everyone
Mm.
was MBA. Then we had to compete with the IIMs. There were four
Yeah.
IIMs then. There were three in management institutes in Mumbai who competed with us.
Right.
So that was the flavor of our life way back from 1982 to 1984.
So, from your description, I can see there's a stark difference between what SP is right now and what it was at that point of time. So, first question is, why did you decide to join at that point? And secondly, what do you think was the inflection point of SP after which it gained that brand recall to move into a direction where it is right now?
Okay, you've asked two questions at the same time. So the
Yeah.
first one is why did I choose SP? You'll be surprised. I knew I wouldn't get into Bajaj because my score was not that high. I'm being
Hmm.
blatantly honest because I knew how much I had studied for that.
Right.
Uh, you'll be surprised that I had got confirmed admission to NM.
Okay.
I had paid my fees. I won't say much about what that admission process was. The admission process in SPJMR really left a big impression on my mind, saying that they're really trying to look at the overall candidacy of a applying student, of an applicant, before admitting that person. So the process was well explained, it was well handled, and we said, at least I said, there were about three, four friends of mine from Sydenham who had applied, that this seems to be very structured. So this is what appealed to me. So this is why I selected SPJMR at that point in time. Now, your second question is about inflection point.
Right.
I don't know a lot because I used to travel a lot. I've stayed in Chennai for a couple of years as part of my job. So I have a blank window about the institute, let's say from 1985, 86 till about 90. So those 4, 5 years, I don't know much as to what all happened. But I saw the delta from 1990
Mm.
onwards because I had come back to Mumbai by then. Uh, Two, three factors contributed to the successful growth of the institute. One is I personally believe that we were able to bring on very good faculty. Don't forget, we were yet running the MMS program then. Huh? I was
Yeah.
also visiting faculty, and from 90 to 97, 98, I've come as visiting faculty to do financial accounting, management accounting, and all that. So, all finance and accounting oriented systems. And the first or the second class that I did was the last class of MMS that time. So, Dr. Shrikant had announced that we are going autonomous in the following year. So, I've
Hmm.
seen university and I've seen autonomous also.
Okay.
Um, I think that entire period was overall the inflection point. You got a new campus building. You moved out of the science college. You had your own building. Infrastructure was being created. Good faculties were being brought in to deliver content.
Hmm.
At that time, also, I think the visionary of a person called Dr. Manish Shrikant
Hmm.
also helped a lot to bring SPJMR to where it is today.
Now, I just want to get back to your early journey after SPJMR. And I know that you
Okay.
have moved across domains like consulting, auditing, and financial services. And what is your advice for the young professionals who are basically in their first job or the second job and looking to build their journey forward? So, what should be their consideration factors in the initial years of their corporate journey, according to your experience, sir?
Your early years of your career, you can take the risk of shifting from one company to another company and so on, as long as you see some value in making that shift. Okay. And the value in making that shift shouldn't be only monetary. It should be, say, something that I want to test out what is this kind of company or what is this kind of role, because that is when you are able to understand the difference between your theoretical framework as to what a role should be vis-a-vis how it appears in the industry or how it is operated in the industry.
So, what would you say to some professionals who are just stable in their job for the sake of it? They know that they are not growing their skill sets in any manner, but just are staying in the company because they know that there's a lot of preparation which you have to do to go to the job market again, to switch companies and build their brand again in a different company.
The moment you said comfort level, who's
Yeah,
responsible for that comfort level? Who's
it's a.
responsible for getting into that comfort zone?
I think the individual themselves.
That's the answer by itself. So what
Okay.
stops you from saying that, okay, I've done this now for 3 years,
Yeah.
and that's what even HR practitioners want employees to do. They don't
Mm.
want employees to be driven by HR policies. They want the employees to come to HR and say, tell me what next can I do.
So, sir, from
So
what I understand, the job switches can be both external as well as internal, as you mentioned. And even if you're working within an organization, we should be curious enough to see that, okay, after 3 years of spending a stint in one vertical, I want to get a taste and flavor and knowledge about the other vertical. And you should be proactive in going to the leadership and telling that you are okay with taking up more responsibilities and not just wait in a way that, okay, the responsibilities will come to you. You also have to voice it out, as you mentioned, right? Because that
absolutely.
driving and leading that business was probably a good inflection point for you, sir, when you went
Yeah.
from a finance
See,
controller to
and ultimately, who's responsible for your career? Not the HR department. You
exactly.
yourself are responsible for your career. So, if you don't use your hands and legs, you can't swim, right? So you
Exactly.
have to do that.
So as you moved further in your career, you were a business leader first, and then you went into leadership advisory. So I wanted to understand from you what was the trigger point of switching domain to leadership advisory, and how was it different from being a operational leader yourself?
I won't make any bones about this, but it's very clear. One needs to be very, very aware,
Mm-hmm.
and one needs to be very smart to understand on what basis are you being sent overseas. I happily accepted a long-term transfer. Now, multinationals or companies also do a short-term transfer and long-term transfer. Okay, short-term means 18 months, long-term transfer means 4 years or more. And then they fill in. Sorry, I'm going into details, but they said repatriation will happen for you.
Yeah.
Hmm? That's what they told me when I signed the dotted line in the year 2000. I said, okay, I'll go to Switzerland. I signed the dotted line there. And I was the first, at least in my company then, I was the first long term transferred employee out of India.
Okay. Mm.
So, in a way, I was a guinea pig and so on and so forth. So, there are a lot of learning on HR policies around there. But this came as a realization. I said, no one told me this. I
Mm.
depended and I trusted the HR people, saying that, okay, as part of job rotation, job enrichment, blah, 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 that we need your leadership also skills and competencies at a global level. No one tells you that we don't know when you'll go home.
Mm.
And so there comes a time when you need to take a call whether you want to stay back or you're willing to take the risk of coming back home. So it all depends on which year, what age you went overseas, and at what point in time of your personal life this another junction comes up. Stay here or go back home.
So what can
I
we
went.
do if such a situation comes of long-term transfer? Should we just negotiate from the HR at that point itself before signing, like for any
See,
organization, or should
you can't negotiate this because if it's a long-term transfer, you need to be aware as to what is the long-term transfer policy. How
okay.
does it
Yeah.
impact you? At the end of let's say 4 or 5 years, what can happen to you? You
Right.
should discuss this front end.
So my
Yeah.
next question was regarding the leadership advisory in which you switched into. So I want to understand what traits did you see consistently within the leaders who created a lasting impact versus the one who probably did not, despite having strong credentials. So what were the traits which you see in a leader basically who create a lasting impact?
I would steer clear in terms of making a comparison per se, Arnav, but I would probably be a little more indicative of what I feel would make a effective and successful leader based on
Sure,
my
sir.
my own business experience,
Mm-hmm.
what I am, what my business experience is, and my leadership advisory experience till now. Okay. Yes, I have placed people in different leadership jobs and they have been very successful. Some of them have not. Okay. I think other than the technical functional expertise which the person is supposed to bring along for the particular role or for the sets of roles that the person has done. I think one key things that the leader needs to have to become successful is definitely a connect with people. Okay. And I don't say connect from here, it's a connect from here, from the heart.
Mm. So if you are right now talking to your 1984 self, right, at this point, who had just at placements, what advice would you give him after all these years of boardrooms, flights, etc.? If you just have to give one, two, or anything in particular to that person, what would you give in retrospect?
It's live to learn and learn to live. I would tell that myself at that point in time, saying that throughout your life, keep learning. So live to learn,
Yeah.
and there will be always along that journey, you should learn to live. So find your space, find your happiness in whatever you're doing,
Hmm.
with your friends, with your people, and so on and so forth, whatever you want to, and learn to live it.
Awesome, sir. Thanks for that. And I just had two questions, but I would just request you, sir, that you don't take a lot of time in thinking about it and just say whatever comes to your mind first. So, what
Rapid fire.
energizes you the most today, work or otherwise?
One is my 8-year-old grandson. Second is my weekend games of badminton.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and third is my passion for yet doing visiting facultyship anywhere that I'm called. And it's in random order. It is not one, two, three. All three of them together.
So, one book or idea that changed your thinking.
Thriving on Chaos by Alvin Toffler.
Okay. Anything specific on that, sir? Like any context
Read
on that
it.
book? Okay.
Read it.
Sir, your go-to learning habit today, because I know that you're a curious person. So, any go-to learning habit which you have.
Read as much as you can. Try to experience everything, whatever you want to.
So, if not this, what would you be doing today? If not what you're doing right now?
Arnav, you, the I'm not dodging that question, but it's very
Mm-hmm.
difficult to think what else would I have been doing, because all these things that I'm doing is to keep the gray cells active, to
Yeah.
keep the body active. It's
Mm.
A, to keep yourself occupied from a brain cell perspective so that you
Mm.
keep updated what's happening and so on. Second is to go out and help people. So other than the academics that I help with, I do a lot of social oriented coaching and mentoring also here. So
Mm.
everyone knows that I've been in leadership advisory. So every morning after my baddie session is over, for half an hour, someone or the other, all the youngsters, I play with youngsters only.
Yeah.
The next person in the age profile is a guy who's 48 years old and I'm 63. So there's clear 15 years difference between that guy and me.
Yeah.
And the youngest is 24. So he
Wow.
calls me grandfather. Nah, I'm joking. Anyway, but there's always a question in their mind saying that, okay, maybe we should ask him as to career wise what. So more than happy to have that discussion also on the sidelines, sitting on the bench. It's a bad term in IT, but I sit on the bench and I give career advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for that, sir. And that brings us
Yeah,
to the end of questioning for this episode. And again, thank you for doing this, sir, and thanks for all the answers. I'm sure it will be really insightful for all the listeners listening. And
sure.
hope you enjoyed the podcast.
So all the best to you, Arnav. I think you're doing a very good thing of piecing together experiences of different seniors and so on. So best of luck in doing all of this. Yeah.
Thank you so
All the
much, sir.
best.